started taking notes. So I started taking notes to bulletize this down to a brief one, right? So I can be brief and stay on pace. And by the time I got, 1 page, he said, by the time I got through with the notes and interpreting all the achievements that he had, I had more than what he sent me. That could be a problem introducing a guest speaker, right? But I did not, again, want to miss out on an opportunity to parallel where you're sitting and that he's walked the same journey to where he is now. He's going to elaborate a little bit more about what he's doing currently and about some of the challenges that may be parallel and about how he felt when he left his high school and went on to matriculate to college. Byron Lattimore, a Dallas native. He attended Tyler Street Christian Academy. He graduated from there with honors. He went on to become an undergraduate at Texas Southern University, the almighty TSU, for any of you that have been there. While there, he achieved his undergraduate degree, BA in marketing. He became the vice president of the AMA while he was there on campus, the campus chapter. And I know, Brother Lattimore, you like to believe, and I know, Byron, you like to, I was vice president of AMA, American Medical Association, right? Oh, no. Marketing, and I like that. I got that affiliation because I'm an advertiser. We didn't call it marketing back there. It was in the age-old days of the 1970s. While on campus, he was real active. Again, if it's in your pedigree, it's in your pedigree, okay? And while on campus, he participated and led a team to the national championship in what's called the Honda Campus All-Star Challenge. Now, that's a quiz bowl. You might know it today. You know, if any of you are getting ready for college, how many are getting ready for college? Anybody? If you're in 8th grade or 7th grade, you should be getting ready for college. Right. Okay? That's a fast track. You got to get there. But Byron led the quiz team, the Honda Campus All-Star Challenge, to a national tournament. Nowadays, it's known as the NAQT, the National Academic Quiz Tournament, which is the parallel for it right now. While he was on campus, also he was selected out of 5,000 students. Only 4 got selected, right, for an internship with the Houston Astros, the marketing department. So step by step, he's planning from high school what he wants to do consistently and finding opportunity, okay? In a career standpoint, he went on after he got his undergraduate degree, and his first job in the department was with Nations Bank. We now know that NATS, Bank of America. While there, he spent 12 years, and he spent most of his time in the Treasury Department. He also spent a portion of his time financial reporting for bankruptcy. Your timing might have been a little off, but you could have really made it after the 2009 crash. Big time. Okay? That's okay. You got the degree, you got the certification, you got the skills from it. He went on after 12 years there to spend some time with Athlon, independent agent. And so you can see how he's building his skills here. At that time, you've got to understand the flexibility of where you're sitting at now and how to get there. You've got to have courage to step forward. And at that time, he's got a 12-year degree. I think he's going to do that the rest of his life. He retools. He retools and says, you know, I always wanted to get my master's degree. And that's what he did. He left that short stint at Aflac and decided to go and get his master's degree, his MBA in financial services. And that was at the University of Dallas. He's got his Series 6 and his Series 63 license. And then while he was doing that also, again, flexibility, give back in order to get ahead. He also became a student mentor for the Prisoner Entrepreneur Program. If you're not familiar with it, it certainly is just what it says. He helped mentor prisoners to reform themselves and come back and create their own jobs. It's a challenge we're incorporating back into the community. Okay? He currently works for TIAA Cref Financial, and he's a financial advisor there at Louisville. Ladies and gentlemen, Byron Lattimore, a member of Kappa Psi fraternity, initiated in 2002, Dallas Alumni Chapter. He has served outstandingly there. He served in every executive position possible within the chapter before he became the 35th poll mark of president of that chapter. True leadership. He has served on the regional level also. And before I get there, let me now cross up the highlights of when he was leading that chapter. They celebrated, and he helped organize the 75th anniversary of the Dallas Alumni Chapter. He served at the Southwest Province level, and I know he currently does as our newsletter editor and chairman of the newsletter committee. During his term also, the chapter won large chapter of the year. He has partnered and created a dynamic relationship with what's called Sunday of Hope, and our partnership with the Cap Outside and St. Jude Hospital in raising $42,000 as a community leader and leading the chapter in that effort as well. He has also gone on to lead young men and young women in mentorship within our community in what's called our Guide Right program. He created the first Fdtn military ceremony as part of that. He has been dynamic in creating and instituting scholarship programs for Paul Point University. He's on the board, and you see why I got so many notes? I tried to shorten this thing. He's on the board of directors for the Dallas Guide Right Foundation. He's the vice chair currently. He has worked at the regional level, as I mentioned before, at the Providence. He also, at the regional level for the Providence, and went on to the national level to help organize, host, and plan our every 2 years we have a grand chapter meeting. All the capitals in the world will come and attend. Byron led us in the 79th and 80th grand chapter plan in Washington, D.C., and in Indianapolis. And the key about Indianapolis was the fraternity was celebrating its 100 years. That was the major grand chapter meeting of all, and Byron was at the helm of being the assistant planning committee chair for that. I bring you all of this, and a young man who is certainly younger than I am and has a lot ahead of him, but it's because he's a chip off the old block. Emerson Lattimore, his father, sits right there next to him. Emerson, and Emerson is a past Southwestern Providence pole marker. He is a Grand Chapter Board of Directors member, and he wears proudly our second highest award in the fraternity, Elder Watson Diggs, awarding Emerson Lattimore. With all that said and all my notes, I'm going to get out of the way, and I'm going to let our speaker for today approach the platform, Byron Lattimore.
Education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to the people who prepare for it today. Malcolm X. From The Once and Future King by T.H. White. The best thing for being sad, replied Merlin, beginning to puff and blow, is to learn something. That's the only thing that never fails. You may grow old and trembling in your anatomies. You may lie awake at night listening to the disorder in your veins. You may miss your only love. You may see the world about you devastated by evil lunatics, or know the honor trampled in the sewers of baser minds. There's only one thing for it then, to learn. Learn why the world wags and what wags it. That is the only thing which the mind can never exhaust, never alienate, never be tortured by, never fear or distrust, never dream of regret. Learning is the only thing for you. Look what a lot of things there are to learn. Man's mind, once stretched by a new idea, never regains its original dimensions. Oliver Wendell Holmes. When you know better, you ought to do better. Grandma. To the Richardson-Plano Alumni Chapter and newly elected Pole Mark Jerry Carver, to the Richardson-Plano Guide Right Foundation Board of Directors, to my fellow Kappa brothers, and of course to the 2013 scholarship recipients and your families, good evening. There are three song titles that I think of at a time like this, one by Seal, or Steve Miller if you're a little bit older, called Time Keeps on Slipping into the Future. Another song by the Jacksons, led by the king of pop himself, the late Michael Jackson, Time Waits for No One. And finally, a song by their little sister, Janet, Funny How Time Flies When You're Having Fun. I'm reminded of those three songs because at a time like this, I look out into the audience and I see the scholarship recipients and the other awardees for this evening, and I think back to when I was in their seats. And And so I thought as I prepared this speech, I said, well, what would I want to hear if I was sitting in their seat right now? Not another boring speech, not a lot of big words. What practical ideas, what tips, what words of wisdom would I be able to take home with me and keep as I move forward to college? So, to the recipients, I'll say a few things. I won't keep you long. And I'm well aware that the world of today is more Twitter than it is textbook, more notebook than it is number 2 pencil. So I promise I will give you a couple of tweet-worthy lines that you can easily remember or post on Facebook or at least save in your smartphone. So here's the cue. When I hold my hand up, that's when you know that's a key point. First of all, congratulations on your recent achievement as you begin this new chapter of your lives. By now, many of you, or all of you, may have participated in your respective graduation exercises, sometimes referred to as commencement. And by now, you should also know that the word commencement does not mean the end of something, but rather it means the beginning or the start of something new. And so now you are getting ready to start a new chapter in your lives. As you embark on this new journey, you already have a leg up on some of your peers because already you understand the importance of education and you have the ability to think logically. That's what all that algebra stuff is for in the first place. You also understand how important it is to set goals and working hard to reach those goals. But now, you have a new goal. Keep in mind that your number one goal in getting into college is to get out of college, but to get out with a degree in your hands. I would also add the words of Dr. King, who said, intelligence plus character. That is the goal of true education. Getting your first degree, and I emphasize the word first, won't be easy. Nothing ever worthwhile is. But one of the most successful businessmen, Henry Ford, once said, obstacles are those frightful things you see when you take your eyes off your goals. As scholarship recipients, you should think of this scholarship as an investment. Now, you heard in the bio and in the intro by Brother Ellis what I do for a living. And in my line of work, you hear the term ROI quite a bit. ROI is a term that stands for return on investments. I want you to think of your scholarship as an investment. But your ROI won't necessarily be monetary. Your ROI will be you having the ability to explore the fullness of your personality and to realize your full potential. Potential. I was just checking my phone before I started, and the NBA draft is going on right now as we speak. and their word potential is going to be thrown around all night long. It will be used incessantly, the word potential. Now don't get me wrong, potential is good because that means that you have something within you that others see that you have yet to bring out. But on the reverse side of that coin, potential, as one of my old coaches used to say, simply means that you haven't done it yet. Now, as you go off to the respective schools of your choice, you will have the ability, and college will be the environment in which you will prepare yourselves, as the Nike slogan says, to just do it. Up to now, your journey, your course has been charted by your parents, your teachers, and others. But now, in this new phase of your life, you will take ownership of that journey. And it may take you to exciting places and in different directions, and that's a good thing. Along your journey at the intersection of your passion and your talent, combined with just a little bit of perseverance, you'll find the address for your own personal success in life. But as Einstein said, try not to become just a person of success, but rather become a person of value. Recipients, here's the cue. Number one, these are the tips that I would leave with you to be successful in college. Number one, find a mentor. Now you may ask, who qualifies as a mentor? It's real simple, really. A mentor is someone who has more experience than you. And right now, it's going to be just about everybody. Also, a mentor is someone who is already doing what you want to do. be surprised if you reach out to someone and ask them to serve as your mentor. You'll be surprised at how much know-how and how much knowledge that they'll be willing to share with you if you simply ask. Number two, when you get to your respective campuses, find your career placement office right away. Find it in your freshman year and not your senior year. You'll be surprised, and I was surprised at how many of my colleagues, when I was at Texas Southern, did not set foot to the career placement office until they were weeks away from graduation, hoping that they would be able to find a job upon graduation. Don't wait. They need to know you by your name, your face, and your resume, which brings me to another point. If you do not already have a resume, learn to develop one. By having that information on file with the Career Placement Center, it will help you find summer jobs, internships, as Brother Ellis mentioned, and other opportunities that will give you experience before you graduate and will help you get your career started in the right way. Number three, take a public speaking class. Take a speech elective, even if that's not anywhere near your major. The number one fear among most people is the fear of dying. The number two fear is, guess what? The fear of public speaking, exactly. You can be the smartest, most talented, most gifted, most charismatic person in the room. But if you do not have the ability to express yourself effectively, no one will ever know it. Or worse yet, no one will believe it. Public speaking is an important life skill that you should have. Number four, travel. Now, of course, traveling costs money, but there are creative ways to travel on a shoestring budget if you really look into it. Travel will make you a more well-rounded individual. It will make you more worldly than your peers and other people your age. Travel will give you exposure to new ideas and new cultures. Travel will simply give you an education that you simply cannot get in a book. Or as my grandmother used to also say, bought sense is sometimes better than taught sense. Also, you should travel before the bills come. Or those bills that are so large we sometimes call them Williams. 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed. You finally got that? 20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the things you did do. So throw off the bowlines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sail, explore, dream, discover. Mark Twain. College is the place where you will make lifelong friends. College is the place where you may meet your future spouse. College is the place where you will have lasting memories. College, again, is the place where you will prepare yourself for your respective careers. Each person that you meet and each task that you take on, view it as an opportunity to not only make a good first impression, but also to leave a lasting impact. An unknown voice out of the past was once heard to say, "In my hands I hold a candle, whose flame is small to see. And if I give my light to you, my life is filled for me. But in your hands you hold a torch for many eyes to see. So hold it high that they may light their candle wicks from thee." Now is the time to let your light so shine that you illuminate your respective campuses and communities. College will be a fun time. It will be an exciting time, but it will also be a challenging time. You will be faced with a myriad of choices that will affect the outcome of your adult life. I was surfing the internet and I read an article from some recent college grads, and they were giving advice to the class of 2013. And one of the guys had the nerve to say, the first 5 years after college don't matter. Don't believe it. Every choice you make from here on out will have a lasting effect and impact on your life. You will be faced with life decisions that you will make by yourself, for yourself. And if you're faced with a tough decision, pray for wisdom and then do the right thing. It will work out more often than not. As I I mentioned, college will be a fun time, college will be a challenging time, but college will also be a broke time. For everyone that's in the audience, this is the audience participation portion of the speech. For those of you that attended college, by a show of hands, how many of you were broke while you were in college?
You don't get excluded from that.
Again, this will be a broke time. When you get to college, in my hand right here, I hold a piece of plastic that has a magnetic strip on the back. Some of them say Visa, some of them say MasterCard, some of them say Discover, some say Amex. They're called credit cards because you use them and then you're allowed to buy something and then pay for it later. But really, what they should be called are debt cards. Because as soon as you use them, guess what? You're in debt. The last thing we want for you is to walk across the stage with a degree in one hand and a Visa bill in the other. The Proverbs say, a fool and his money are soon parted. But there's another classic proverb from one of my favorite movies that says, a fool and his money are lucky enough to get together in the first place. So I'm going to give you one more piece of unsolicited advice. And my apologies to all the parents in attendance. Please forgive me. If you're broke and you need money, under no circumstances should you apply for a credit card. If you need money, call home. The interest rate is a lot lower. So let me recap these 5 tweet-worthy points. 1, find a mentor. 2, find your career placement office. 3, take a public speaking course. 4, travel if you can. 5, no debt cards. To all the scholarship recipients, we congratulate you, we salute you, we encourage you, we support you, we're proud of you, and we bid you Godspeed. Put that scholarship to good use. We're depending on you. We're depending on you to find cures to cancer. We're depending on you to make good laws for all the people. We're depending on you to create companies and create jobs for others. We're depending on you to make sure that Barack Obama, the President of the United States, was not a fluke. And with that, I'll take my seat. But before I do, since I opened up with a quote, I'll close with a quote by Leo Buscaglia. Your talent is God's gift to you. What you do with it is your gift back to God. Thank you.